Museum. Museum station. Doors will open on the left. North Village.
Wow, look at this. This is like a winter wonderland, Queen's Park, here in downtown Toronto, of course. And hey everyone, today is Monday, November the 10th, 2025, which is the second day of snow, and within 1 day remaining before Remembrance Day, which is tomorrow, and the time right now is around 1:45 p.m. and the temperature is around minus 2 degrees Celsius, but it kind of feels a bit colder than that. Kind of feels like minus 8. And I'm here at Queen's Park in downtown Toronto, just next to the second new entrance to a museum station where I got off the Line 1 subway. And the plan for this video is that I'll be heading west from here to Ossington Avenue and Harbor Street, which is just west of here, and we'll be passing by the U of T St. George campus, and we will also be passing by the Central Tech Stadium at the corner of Bathurst and Harvard Street in the neighborhood of Harvard Village. So the neighborhood that I'm in is the Bay Clover Hill neighborhood, if not mistaken. So I'm just north of College Street, which is just south of here, and Bloor Street West is just north of here, north of Queen's Park. And it's such a nice cloudy day. During the second day of snow, we had our first ever snowfall yesterday morning. And you're looking at the statue of King Edward just over there in that direction. So I thought that I would record a walking video heading west from here to Ossington and Harvard Street. We'll be walking west along Hoskin Avenue and Harvard Street. It's going to be a fun walk on the second day of snow. And it has been a while that I've been around here at Queen's Park. It's been like a few days. Well, back on Friday, when I recorded the 506 Carlton streetcar from Main Street Station to Queen's Park Station, I was not too far from this area. So it's been like a few days, at least. So now we're walking towards Hoskin Avenue that begins west of Queen's Park Crescent West, and then Hoskin Avenue runs from here to St. George Street, just next to the Robarts, just next to the Robarts Library, where Hoskin Avenue will become Harvard Street, and Harvard Street runs from St. George all the way to Harvard and Ossington Avenue. So here's where you'll see a lot of U of T students, because I'm just next to one of Canada's largest universities of Toronto, the U of T St. George campus. And my sister used to study psychology at U of T St. George campus. It's a really nice campus here in this area in downtown Toronto, of course. And looking south, there is the CN Tower off in that direction. Hoskin and Queen's Park Crescent West. Yeah, the weather is not that bad. It was cold, very cold last night, and it's supposed to be colder later in the evening. I think with a low of -4, -5, all that sort of thing. And also today being November the 10th is also the last day of the Monopoly Challenge almost at every McDonald's here in the city, as a 94 Wolsey bus rolls by. And the return of the 94 on its regular routing has finally recently returned. I remember Harvard Street was closed off due to construction between Ossington and Spadina like a few months ago. So it's always great to see the 94 Wolsey bus back on its regular routing, of course. This is 8602, based from the Bridgemount bus garage. And I remember way over a year ago, I've done a walking video along Harvard Street / Hoskin Avenue from Bathurst and Harvard next to the Central Tech Stadium all the way east to Queen's Park, which is right there. as you can see, I am wearing my poppy for the upcoming tomorrow's Remembrance Day ceremony. I'll be doing a live stream tomorrow at Queen and Bay next to Old City Hall, because that's where the Remembrance Day ceremony will be taking place. CB24 will be there as well. I remember last year I streamed Remembrance Day. That was last year on a Monday, but because tomorrow is a Tuesday, I do plan to stream the Remembrance Day ceremony for tomorrow, because I don't want to miss out this really important event. So that's why I'm wearing this poppy for tomorrow's Remembrance Day. Alright, so let's walk west here. So now we're on the north side of Hoskin Avenue, heading west. They got some really nice architecture buildings around here, including universities around this area. The St. George campus area. There we go. So once I arrive at Ossington and Harvard, I'll be recording my next walking video along Ossington from Harvard Street, ending off at a subway station, Ossington Station on Line 2. So this is my first video of today, and my second walking video will be along Ossington from Harvard to Ossington Station. And on the right is the Trinity College, University of Toronto, located at 6 Hoskin Avenue. Looks nice. And this is Tower Road on the left. So there's like so many U of T students walking towards school. That was a 94A Wellesley bus heading to Ossington Station, where I'll be heading to later on in my next video after this. And look at all these colorful leaf colors just south of Harvard, just south of Hoskin Avenue. Wow. Those colors look so pretty. And even though that we're still in fall, and because today is the second day of snow, as we're seeing snow, a few snows on the ground, it's always nice to see these wonderful, cool leaf colors here along Hoskin Avenue as we're approaching St. George Street. And then Hoskin Avenue will become Harvard Street, which runs from St. George to Ossington, as I mentioned earlier. And even though that we're currently sitting at minus 2 degrees Celsius, it's not really that chilly though. I mean, it is a little bit chilly. You know, I have streamed here a few times, but it's been a while though, so I thought that I would come back here along this stretch and record something, and that's why I'm doing it. There's the St. John Henry Newman Catholic Church on the right, Newman Center. And this is the Robarts Library. Looks like a turkey building. For Catholic life on campus, join us for daily and weekend masses. St. John Henry Newman Catholic Church, located next door on Hoskin Avenue. Neat. So this is St. George Street. So this is the end of Hoskin Avenue, and the next street that begins west of St. George is Harbor Street. Right there. And looking north up along St. George towards St. George Station at Bloor and St. George. And looking south down St. George all the way towards College Street. And maybe one day I'll do a walking video along St. George Street from Bloor and St. George, maybe south down to either here or College. In fact, I have done a walking video along St. George from St. George Station to here when I was checking out the lovely cherry blossom trees over there just next to the Robarts Library. That was like way over a year ago. And I might do that again next year in April or May. But it's cool that we're seeing all these colorful leaf colors along the stretch of Harbor Street. So that was Hoskin Avenue from Queens Park Crescent West to St. George Street. Now we're on Harbor Street heading west. There's the 94 Wellesley bus. So normally around here is where you'll see the cherry blossoms, normally in April. But it's not here yet, not until April of next year. And we're approaching Huron Street. Huron and Harbor. And then the next block west of Huron will be Spadina Avenue. In fact, I streamed along Spadina yesterday during our first ever snowfall. And there's like a few light flurries coming down, but not a lot, so. And look at the turkey building, the Robarts Library. It's a very big library, though. Lots of floors where you can study for exams and all that sort of thing. Just next to the U of T St. George campus. Alright, crossing Huron Street, Huron and Harbor. Looking south down Huron. And I remember along this stretch of Harbor used to be a whole bunch of like construction sites going on back in a few months. And I remember that there used to be road closures along Harbor from between Spadina and Ossington. And I remember that, and I do remember that the 94 Wellesley had to divert in both directions, heading west and east.
And how much older is he?
Look, there's a second cup on the left. As we're approaching Spadina and Harbor, where I was yesterday when I was streaming from downtown to High Park. And once we pass Spadina, we'll be entering the neighborhood of Harbor Village. Graduate house. Neat. Alright, this is Harbor and Spadina. So we'll be entering the Harbor Village neighborhood once we pass Spadina and the Harbor intersection. And this is the athletic center on the southeast corner of Harbor and Spadina. I see a 510 streetcar rolling by. Sand Tower over there. So I was just here yesterday during our first ever snowfall. And looking north up along Spadina, all the way towards Bloor in the Annex neighborhood. Alright, welcome to the neighborhood of Harbor Village. Alright guys, one sec. All right, back on track. So I remember streaming and recording a walking video along this stretch of Harbour Street in the Harbour Village neighborhood. And Harbour Village is a neighborhood in Toronto, Ontario, Canada. It lies just to the west of the University of Toronto, with its most commonly accepted borders being Bloor Street on the north, Spadina Avenue on the east, and College Street to the south, and Bathurst Street to the west. Areas west of Bathurst, as far as Ossington, are also sometimes included, though they are not covered by the Residents Association. And the area was previously known as the Sussex Ulster, after two of the major east-west streets in the area. And in 2000, the Residents Association decided to rename itself and the area Harbour Village, after the main street running through the middle of the community. The street's name origin is unclear, but it could be named for Tennis Edward Harbert, third Baron Suffield. And the area is also sometimes referred to as the South Annex, after the better-known Annex community to the north, and the City of Toronto, for administrative purposes, places Harbour Village and most of the St.George campus into a region it calls university. Interesting. So, fun facts about this neighborhood of Harbour Village. It is very residential, and lots of old homes along the stretch. This is Robert and Harbour Street, right here. Harbour House. That's neat. I passed by here a lot of times. And there is the Harbour Bakery. I think one of the fantastic bakeries here in the Harbour Village. And this Esso gas station has been fenced off for some reason. But you can tell Harbour Street is very peaceful. It's a very nice street here in the neighborhood of Harbour Village. So we're just south of the Annex. And once we pass Bathurst and Harbour, we're next to the Central Tech Stadium. Will be just south of Koreatown as well. As we're approaching Harbour and Brunswick Avenue here in Harbour Village. So this street, Brunswick Avenue, is only a one-way street heading south from Bloor to here, and a one-way street heading northbound. summer from college to here. Yeah, I was right. Yeah, so the street, Brunswick Avenue, runs from College all the way to Bloor Street, and so on and so forth. But I'm glad to see that along this stretch of Harbour Street has reopened, and the 94 Wolsey buses are now on its regular routing now. The 94 Wolsey. '94 Wolsey. Heading east to Castle Frank Station. And looking back east towards downtown. In fact, I am slowly just west of downtown. And coming up on the right is Central Tech Stadium, a well-known stadium in this area of Harbert Village. And it is cold a bit. There's a Pizza Nova on the left. I've been inside that pizza place a few times. And I think normally at this time of hour, along this stretch of Harbour Street is sometimes peaceful. But then during rush hours, you'll see a whole bunch of cars being stuck in traffic along this stretch of Harbour Street as we're approaching Bathurst and Harbert. Alright, this is Bathurst and Harbert, and way over a year ago, here's where I began my video when I was heading east from here to Queen's Park. That was back on May 12th of 2024 during Mother's Day when I recorded that walk. And let's look at the Central Tech Stadium. Yeah, so from what I'm seeing a bit of flurries coming down from the clouds. Some very nice light flurries of snow. And just north of here will be Mervish Village, as well as Koreatown, over there in that direction. All these nice homes, old homes that were built probably from the early 1940s, 50s, 30s. And looking south down Bathurst towards Little Italy at the corner of Bathurst and College. Oh yeah, and I remember last time, I think that was back on December 22nd during the second day of winter. When I was streaming along here, I was so cold and I was suffering, and I had to head inside that pizza place, the Pizza Nova, just a few blocks or 1 block east of Bathurst and Harvard. And I was during that stream, I was about to faint, and as soon as I went inside, I was all warmed up. And hey, at least I had experience, at least, suffering in the cold streaming last year on December 22nd during the second day of winter. But hey, at least I made it through, so. This is Markham Street, which will lead you all the way towards Bathurst subway station, just north of Bloor West. And I really like these old homes. And they look pretty nice to me. As we're approaching Harvard and Palmerston Avenue. If you want to see more leaf colors, definitely check out Palmerston Avenue. Johnny did a really great video along Palmerston Avenue. From Bloor, I think, south to College, I believe. So from here, this is a one-way street heading south along Palmerston from Bloor to here, and another one-way street heading northbound from somewhere from College up to here. And here along this stretch of Harvard Street, they have some really nice alleyways along this stretch. There's almost a lot of alleyways along this stretch of Harvard Street. And I'm seeing so many leaves on the sidewalk, even though we're still in fall. The fall season, and You know, it's always nice to see snow and the fall leaf colors both at the same time. Oh, someone left a carpet on the fence. Alright, this is Harbord and Manning Avenue. So I am not too far from Ossington, and that's where Harbor Street ends. Harbor Street ends at Ossington Avenue. Let's cross. Both the 94 water buses passing by both at the same time, and that's cool. Heading east and west. And this is Clinton Street coming up. So unfortunately there's no left turns on Clinton from Harbor Street. It's only a one-way street heading northbound only. But once you head south down Clinton by foot, it will take you all the way to College. And you'll find a restaurant on the left that's called the Diplomato. I've been there a lot of times. I think I pronounced Diplomato correctly. I think it's Diplomaco. Hey look, another alleyway. Oh, there's another alleyway right here. That's cool. And these snow plows, trucks. And they worked hard last night to remove all the snow off the roads. As we're approaching Gray Street. So unfortunately there's no right turns onto Gray Street from Harbord. You can only turn left. It's a one-way street heading southbound only. And Gray Street will take you all the way to Bloor, where it becomes Christie Street once you walk north on Grace from here to Bloor. So it's only a one-way street heading southbound, and I can barely see Bloor Street over there in that direction. And that's where you'll find Chrissy Pitts, where I was there yesterday during my first ever snowfall live stream. And look at this, there's like so many trees almost covered in snow. Not a lot, but a few. Or almost a lot of them. This is Bickford Park, by the way. And on the left is the Art Eglinton Park. Art Eglinton. Or is it Art Eglinton Park? It's pronounced Art Eglinton Park. Oh, and this vehicle is the windshields covered in snow. But what a nice, peaceful residential street of Harvard, as I am west of downtown Toronto. And a look at Bickford Park once again. Look, another alleyway. And coming up is Montrose Avenue. Montrose and Harvard. So there's no right turns onto Montrose from Harvard. So a two-way street begins south of Harvard on Montrose, and a one-way street heading southbound only ends here at Montrose and Harvard. And looking north up along Montrose towards Bloor, where you'll find Christie Pitts. Now for Wolseley. And looking back east towards downtown, I can see a few buildings off in that direction, as I am west of Montrose Avenue. So many green leaves and dark yellow ones on the bike lane. That's a lot. And we got more alleyways here. One over there and one over here. Crawford Street coming up. So it's only a one-way street heading northbound only. Only a one-way street. See? That's Carnos. And why is that? Oh, never mind. Because I thought that I saw that he was riding his bicycle on at the wrong bike lane. Good, now he's riding at the correct bike lane, heading east. You know, I've seen some cyclists riding their e-bikes, e-scooters at the wrong bike lane. So, for example, this is a westbound bike lane, but I've seen cyclists riding their bicycles heading east on a westbound bike lane. Like, that's not, like, you can't do that. You have to be on the correct bike lane for eastbound if you're heading eastbound. If you're heading westbound, you should be on this bike lane. That's how it is. As we're approaching Shaw Street, and no right turns on red light, except green. So a one-way street heading northbound begins north of Harvard on Shaw, and a one-way street heading southbound begins south of Harvard on Shaw. So Shaw Street will lead you south down towards Trinity Bellwoods Park. I've been there a lot of times. And there's the 94A Wellesley. I've recorded that route so many times. So many times. So we are approaching Ossington Avenue, which is the end of Harvard Street. Look, icicles. Dental art. And all these bicycles covered in snow. And this is Roxton Road over there, just south of here. All these nice homes in this very nice area. And we're not too far from the Blue Courts Village neighborhood once we head north on Ossington. Well, that'll be for my next video after this. I'll be entering the neighborhood of Blue Courts Village where I streamed yesterday during our first ever snowfall here in Toronto. So this is the end of Harvard Street. It ends at Ossington Avenue. So since I'm at Harvard and Ossington, I will slowly be wrapping up this video. So I hope you all enjoyed the walk from Queen's Park all the way here at Ossington and Harvard on a Monday afternoon. And remember to like, share, and subscribe for more content. And I'll be recording my next video along Ossington from here. And I'll be editing my track at Ossington Station online too, at the corner of Bloor and Ossington. Should be at least a 15-minute walk from here to Ossington Station. At least 15 minutes. Not really a long walk. So hope you all have an awesome Monday. Enjoy your Monday afternoon. And I will see you guys next time. Alright, cheers. Alright, time to end this video at Ossington and Harvard. And I'll be recording my next walking video heading north on Ossington from Harvard to Ossington Station. Alright. Cheers, ciao for now.